So I want to introduce you to Derek Lindsay, and he is with FEBE3, and he is actually going to be our moderator tonight for our folks that are veterans that own businesses. So thank you to our veterans.
You guys can come on up. We've got Pete Lowe from the UPS store in Amherst. We've got Kelly Hunt from Casa de Kelly. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you.
And then we've also got Jason Sims from J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah. Come on, Pedro.
Thank you, Kelly. And this is Pedro
Barnes.
Pedro Barnes. Thank you very much for being with us. All right. So to start out, I'll give Pete the mic here. Basically, to start out, if you could just give us a, is it on?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay, cool. If you could just give us a kind of a quick bio, let us know what branch you served, how long you served, and then what business you're in now, and how long you've been in that.
Excellent. So I'm Pete Lowe. I own the UPS store in Amherst, Ohio, and I was Air Force enlisted. I did computer programming, email support, that kind of stuff in the Air Force for 4 years, back several years ago. Since then, I've been working for a government contractor. We do some certification support for military entities still, and I branched out, wanted something of my own. I purchased the UPS store in Amherst. It was an existing franchise. Started in 2009 out there. I purchased it July of 2015, so I've had it about a year and a half.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I probably don't need this because I'm loud in general. I was Army. I joined the military. I did 3.5 years of college at Kent State. September 11th happened, and most people my age kind of sat and were like, what are we going to do about this? And so I quit college my last semester in at Kent State. In retrospect, that was okay. It happens. So started basic training September 16th, 2001. I was a photojournalist, 46 Quebec. And shipped out to Afghanistan 2003, 2004, where I told our military story by carrying a camera along with all my guns and stuff, and got to tell their stories. So that was interesting. If you're ever bored, look up Specialist Kelly Hunt, and my stories will pop up in my photos. But so got out of the military in 2005, went back to college, got my master's degree really quick in international journalism, and decided to work at EPA because I wanted to save the Earth. And then Fukushima happened, nuclear disaster. I was on the emergency response team. At what point I decided I wanted to go back to Afghanistan. We all have issues. And became a diplomat. 10 months into my tour, got blown up by 2 suicide bombers, killed 5 of my teammates, and I just was in a coma for a while. Got a new skull and all that stuff. Woke up and decided I'm going to do something different, so I started Casa de Kelly LLC, so my way of still serving. So all natural home supplies, laundry detergent, bath soap, bath bombs, all that jazz, which I custom sent. Which is kind of a really great therapy for me because I'm mixing everything by hand, and I've had a lot of surgeries on this hand. So that's my story. So now I start Casa de Kelly, and I'm ready to I look forward to making all natural home supplies.
When did you start Casa de Kelly?
Oh, about a year or so ago. I think I got legit, got all my, started my LLC about 6-9 months ago, something like that. So pretty new, and you know, figuring it all out and how to do everything. But this FEBE group has been outstanding with that, and if I have any questions, you know, and sorry, so I took an hour.
Hi, my name is Jason, and I know I don't need this.
It's actually for the recording.
Okay, for the recording. Then yep. I'll do it for your sake then. All right, my name is Jason Sims. I served just shy of 21 years in the U.S. Navy. Did pretty much everything the Navy has to offer, from riding submarines to big deck amphibs to flight crew on P3s, and was actually on the ground in combat in Somalia, Kosovo, and Afghanistan. Good times. Yeah. I finished off my career as a Navy chief in 2011 and came back to Ohio. Spent some time working with people with disabilities as an employment specialist and working with the bureaucracy of the state of Ohio and the government of Ohio, and realized desk jobs just weren't for me. So June of this year, I started looking around for other options and found J-Dog and met Pedro and his wife and realized this is where I want to be going. So since then, I've been working on trying to get my own franchise started and learning the ropes with Pedro. And he's going to be able to tell you a lot more about his journey and how the business works. But it's a chance for me to do something that I can give something back to my community, give something back to the veterans, but still on my terms and not be stuck behind a desk wearing a noose around my neck. So, thank you.
Well, to follow that, all those presentations, first, thank you for your service, guys. My name is Pedro Barnes. I served in the Navy for 7 years. I started as an avionics technician, got my degree. I became an officer. I became a pilot. After 7 years, I came out of the service, went to school. Navy paid for my master's degree. It's a great Navy. I went into business as an executive for up to 20 years, and the last job I had was the vice president of Goodwill. And about a year ago, I decided to go into business for myself. And in December of last year, I bought the franchise for J-Dog Joint Removal in Holland. Since that, I've been starting a business almost a year now, from nothing to what it is today. Jason has been working with me and learning the ropes. He's worked as a supervisor for me, and he has been great on this. But the opportunities of J-Dog, our goal is to help 10,000 veterans, returning veterans, to find employment in the nation. We are a nationwide company. So that is my story, and I stick to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You guys can, we'll hand it back
Starting
and
over.
forth. Yep. Thank you guys very much for your service. We pretty much have every branch covered here tonight, which is excellent. And sounds like pretty much everybody's been in business right around a year so far, so congrats on that as well. I'm just over a year in my business as well, so congratulations. So, you guys kind of touched on it a little bit, but what was the biggest factor in starting your own business? Moving away from the desk jobs, as you guys said, but is there anything further that you guys can add to that?
For me, starting the new business is more of an investment. I still have my other job. I work at full-time. I moved up here from the Baltimore area in 2006 and worked from home for the last 10 years for the company back in Baltimore, would travel for them as necessary. We're a small company. There's only, I think, 9 of us in our company, and it's a fairly niche business. And I really had gotten to the point with that company where there was no room for growth. There was no opportunity to become a partner in the company. I'm a senior engineer. I really enjoy what I do, but I've really maxed out. For just personal growth, and then as an investment, I wanted to own a business. And so I looked around at different opportunities, ended up kind of falling into the UPS store, just talking to the owner about how she came about and made her selection, and found out that her store was for sale. And then we went from there and ended up owning the store. And I'm actually trying to set it up to a point where I can really back away. So my goal with the UPS store is I have a full-time manager there. I have another full-time person and a part-time person, and I'm really trying to grow it to the point that it really takes care of itself. We are heavy into print services. The UPS stores, obviously with the UPS Shield, we're known for our pack and ship services. However, the print area is really our growth area. So I'm bringing in a salesperson probably this month, maybe next month, to start helping grow it. We've been doing it with the team that I've got. But I'm finding that I've really kind of maxed out for myself what I can do with my full-time job, and then what I can do running the store full-time, and then trying to be a dad full-time. I'm running out of full-times. So I'm trying to leverage that with some additional help. And the idea is to get to the store to a point where it's really making some money for me that I can put into my pocket, and then I can branch out to possibly some more ventures. So that's what it means to me.
Hi. So I started serving this country in 2001, and so I think it's just what I do. And after I got hit in Afghanistan, prior to getting hit in Afghanistan, I was hired as the press secretary for TSA, which was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a press secretary, and that was pretty much my dream end, is like, that's what I want to do, probably do Congress after that, something like that. But getting a traumatic brain injury means things change a little bit, and I was stubborn, and of course I told the doctors I'm going back to work. They said no. I fought, and need to keep serving, and so I went back to work at TSA, and it didn't. My memory isn't as good. Things are different after you get hurt over there. So I wanted to keep serving regardless, and my friends always said, "Oh, you were such a hippie." And I went to a grocery store. My friends pick up laundry detergent bag. They all have kids now, and I looked at the ingredients and I was like, "This is insane. You can't. This is like chemicals." And so I just started doing research, and of course I have to be right. So I did a bunch of recipes, and I found my version that I loved, and they tried it, they liked it. So now I make all natural supplies as my way of continuing to serve in a completely different way. But you know, I can't be that press secretary anymore, and I need to serve. And I found one that I really enjoy. I love making people smile. They smell it, they love it. And so yeah, that's what led me into this business.
So similar to Kelly, I just cannot sit still. Yeah, and some very similar. So I got out of the service in 2011, finished my master's degree in 2012, and realized very quickly I hated what I was doing. You know, I was good at it. I had an excellent education from John Carroll, but I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't have any gratification, any sense of worth at the end of the day. So, you know, earlier this year I said, you know what, I need to do something where I'm up and moving and I'm physically involved and I have a chance to grow something that is mine and not work for somebody else. And a chance to have some leadership and have some effect on the lives of other returning veterans and other young men and women, because that's what I've been doing for my entire adult life. Is as a chief, I had over 80 people that reported to me, but I was responsible for. And I feel that very strongly, to take back some of that leadership and to take back some of that role that I had in the military. And JDOG affords me that opportunity. And since we are all veteran owned and operated, every franchise is owned by a veteran or a veteran family member, it's similar to being back in that military family. And you know, it's the right fit for me at this time. So that's where I'm headed.
Well, like everybody said here, you know, we all miss the time that we were in the military, the camaraderie, the job, to getting the job done in a way that was important, was a self-gratification. Well, that's one of the things that I found when I went into this business. It's my own responsibility to make sure that the job is done right, it's done right to my own satisfaction. That comes from the military people. We all did that when we were in the service. One of the things that with Jason, Jason and I are working, one thing that we say, we are too stubborn. We don't know when to quit. We don't know when to stop. We have no ability to say, we cannot do this. We're 50 years old, and we're doing the job that 20-year-old kids have a hard time doing. So that is one of the things that come out from the military. For those people outside there that are looking for opportunities, yeah, JDOG offers you that membership or that camaraderie of the fraternity of the service that you cannot find everywhere else. I have worked in the private business for over 20 years as an executive. And yes, it's a very lucrative, it's very exciting, but you don't have the same feeling that you have when you were in the service. Everybody's out looking out to who I can stab today, not in a military-based organization or a military-run business. We all here, we're all brothers, we're all sisters. We are all one, and that's what we try to find. So.
One team.
Yep.
If I could have you guys keep the mic for a minute and pick on JDOG a little bit here, if you guys don't mind. So you guys mentioned employing 10,000 veterans. I'm assuming that's going to be nationwide. And what kind of timetable is there for that? How many franchises are there? And then, Jason, you mentioned that you'd like to open up your own franchise. How will that work out here, having 2 franchises then in the same area, basically?
I'll answer the last question first, then I'm going to turn it over to Pedro to answer the first couple of questions.
Sure.
Every franchise is given a certain specific area based on the area codes. And depending on where you're at, they're very tightly run within those areas. But in our case, we're the only 2 franchises, or right now Pedro's the only franchise. I will be the second franchise in the state of Ohio. And fortunately, we get along pretty well, or at least as far as I'm concerned, we do. And we work well together. So we've had a lot of talks about, okay, how do we handle it if something's on the border between our franchises, or if once my franchise is up and running, if I've got a bigger job, I'm going to call Pedro and have him come and help. And I hope that he'll continue to do the same with me when he's got a big job. It's really a feeling of the more we work together, the better it is for all of us. In the Philadelphia area where the corporation started, I think they've got 12 franchises, but several franchises in the Philadelphia area. And they work very closely together, and I think that's rare amongst national-based franchises, and it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing is with this corporation, because we do work well together.
Sure.
Well, J-Dog is a very new franchise. It's probably been in business for about 3 years nationwide. In those 3 years, we have had a growth of over 300% almost every year. The reason is we offer a very simple concept and very easy to get to for a veteran, because the principles are very oriented. Right now, nationwide, there are probably over, I would say over 40 franchises. The idea about how to hire 10,000 veterans, first of all, is by ownership. And then we have also by employing veterans in our organization. We're looking for people that are able to follow the military code of honesty, integrity, and that they can come into a job, because we go to houses when we do jobs that people might be in a distress issue. You have a hoarder issue, you have a family death, you have situations that people don't need a stranger to come into their house and clean them out financially. We go to houses and help people get their lives back together. We have been in houses that we have moved furniture and found $400, and we go to the owner and say, here, this is your money. This is it's not ours. We found a diamond ring last week in a house, and we get back to the owner, because again, it's not ours. We're here as a guest of our customers. We want to bring that integrity of the military to a business that is kind of a little bit strange. If people think about like a junk hauler, and you think about somebody in a rusted pickup truck coming in and say, hey, I take this for nothing. No, we are trying to bring a professional level to the business as the business grow. We have been having a tremendous growth from when we started. From the phone not ringing once to sometimes the phone ringing so many times that we don't know what to do. So that is what the business brings. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
If I could just give a quick example of what our business really means, a short example of what it means to us and this type of service we pride ourselves on. Last Friday, Pedro's wife, Kelly, got a call from a family whose elderly father was having to move from assisted care to hospice care, and the family members, the adult children, were very upset. And it's a stressful time, something that we're all going to have to face as our parents age. Pedro and I go out Saturday, and we helped move all of their stuff from the assisted living to the hospice care, and then some of it into one of the son's garage. And we do it in such a way, and we ask the questions of what needs to go, what needs to stay, what's important, what's the sympathy value of this item, or the memory value that's going to make your father most comfortable. So that at the end of a few hours of doing this, the 2 daughters of this gentleman came up and gave us hugs and said thank you, because we made the process smoother for them. That's what it's about, not just hauling away junk.
Sure. Yeah. And very powerful to hear anyways from a veteran anyways, because that's the reason that you guys served for us anyways, was to be able to serve the country and serve the people and help. So we really appreciate that. Thank you. That kind of leads into another one. Kelly, would you like to answer first maybe?
Answer the question.
Yeah. What would be the one, I guess, I'll start it by saying discipline is going to be a big one, obviously, that you learn from the military that you can bring into owning and running your own business. Outside of that, though, what would be the biggest takeaway from military service that you apply into running your own business? And if you're not ready yet, we can pass it if somebody's ready.
No, I mean, I can talk all day. That's what I used to get paid to do. But no, I mean, from my military service, I mean, determination, doing what's right. This is what right looks like. We live and breathe it. And even after I woke up from the coma, I didn't remember a lot of things, but I knew that's what right looks like meant. And you make things happen and you do the right thing. And I think in my business, that was it. Like, I looked at that laundry detergent bag and I was like, my friend's kids can't have this. This is unacceptable. And that's the other thing we know. We know it's unacceptable. And I had to fix it. That's just part of what we do. We fix what's wrong, and we're one team, and I had to fix things and do stuff for people. And I love seeing the smiles that people have when they open my product, and I love feeling like I make a difference. Like, you have to keep, you're here, make a difference, do what's right and make a difference. And so I think those are what I mean, of course, I would love to get big. It'd be great, and then hire veterans. Like, that's where we all work together, and I guess that's what right looks like, is giving everybody a place, a home, a family, a one team mission. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually hard to add anything onto that other than to say the same thing over again. It's do what's right and then keep working no matter what else is going on. You know, we started, the previous owner didn't focus on print. You'll find if you have a UPS store of your own, you'll find that there's quite a wide variety in how the UPS stores as individual franchises have taken to print. We've really embraced it, but corporately, you're really a lot on your own. And so figuring out how to do the jobs that we were getting and how to do them well was just exactly what Kelly was saying. You know what right looks like. You get something that you look at and you go, I can't give this to my customer. We don't get any products that we drop ship directly to the customer. Everything that we do, if we have to have it outsourced, it comes into our store and we look at it. For the first 3 months, I don't know if I made money on any of the jobs because we'd get an order in and it wouldn't look right. And if the folks that produced it wouldn't fix it, we'd throw it away and we'd find somebody that would do it right, because we can't give that to our customer. And not pass that on to a customer. I can't have a customer that ordered business cards for $35. Yeah, it cost me $85, $90 to get those business cards in your hand. That's just what it is. And that's part of the not giving up too. We have a system where we can do print, but the franchise side of it, really good support for pack and ship franchises with the UPS store. Print, I think corporate's still trying to get their head around it. So for us, we've really embraced it. So it's a don't give up attitude. So really the same things, just different stories for those.
And, the other thing too is that military-wise, or I think it's just put in you, is there's an end goal. There's always an end goal, and I'll even say, what's the end goal? What's your end goal? What's your ask? What do you want to get to? And I think, like, I have my recipes that I made that I liked, but I tried it out with my friends. I want feedback. I want to know how to make this better. This isn't I'm doing this, support me, and that's it. Like, no, we're one. I say one team all the time, but I mean it, and that's like such a priority to me. Is like, tell me how to make this better. Let me know, like, what combinations are good. What makes you smile? What are we doing here? Like, it's a we thing. It's not just me. And I think that's a military thing. We all sat down. We had an end goal, but it wasn't one person deciding. Well, I mean, obviously you had the commander or whatnot, but we made it actually work right, based on what he thought.
I think one thing that is getting overlooked, and often gets overlooked when you're talking about people who serve in the military currently or formerly, is creativity. People think of the military mindset as being very black and white, very rigid, and certainly that stereotype exists for a reason. But in order to fulfill our mission, in order to fulfill our goal, oftentimes we have to be very creative. One of the most harrowing incidents in my life was we had to repair a submarine using parts cannibalized from a VHS tape player. And that literally, the motherboard pulled out of a VHS tape player literally saved the lives of 107 sailors. And that's the type of creativity you don't hear about when you think of the military.
The other part is that with the military, when you're talking to veterans, one thing that we like to work with veterans, because when somebody tell me or find out there's a veteran, I have a level of trust immediately that happens there. I can trust Jason with $30,000 of my equipment and go out and know he's gonna be taken care as I will take care of it, and that is immediate. That's with other people, with people that are not being served. Yeah, that can get there, but it takes some time. With a veteran to a veteran, that there is almost immediate. And we have employees that are not veterans, and they look at us when we are working, and they look at Pedro and me and Jason talking, and they're like, you guys have to hate each other. He said, no, we love each other. But it's just the way the military builds relationship. So that's something that is very powerful for our business.
Yeah, I mean, on that, like, we're brutally honest. Like, there's things we all did our time. There were good moments and there were bad. I was a female in the military in Afghanistan. There's moments. But, but that if you meet a veteran, like, there's an integrity thing. They are unable to lie, cheat. Like, I think it's just, you can't. You have good deep down in you, and you have to fix things, and you have to make it right, and we just do that. So, like, yeah, I had good moments and bad moments in the military, but I know I can trust you. Like, I know it, and you're going to do what's right, and you're going to make it happen, and you're going to be a hard worker, and that's that, and yeah. Sorry.
No, that's great. Just hearing all these little things, they add up to something really big, and it's really cool to hear all these stories from you guys. So, another question. I know Jason kind of looks up to Pedro as a mentor for the business here. Who would be another role model or mentor, either within your business or outside of your business, that has had a big influence on your life?
Most recently for me, I'm involved in BNI. Many people here probably are involved or at least know BNI. It's Business Networking International. I'm involved in the chapter in Sheffield. And Dennis Willis is with Action Coach there. And if you haven't heard of Action Coach, they're a kind of a business consulting franchise. And they take, I don't know if it's across that franchise or not, but Dennis's take on it, he'll really challenge you and really make you open your eyes. Kind of the like of, if you're having a rough day, these customers that I'm dealing with today, well, really, what right do you have to complain about that? You own your own business. You have your family here. You have this house. You've got all of these things. What right do you have to complain? Yeah, there's challenges that we all face every day. But Dennis has really helped me a lot of times get my mind reset when you're struggling with those little challenges that just happen every day, whether it's in life, whether you work for someone, whether you have your own business, employees, everything. Sometimes you get caught up in those things, and Dennis has been a great resource for me, especially recently, just to get that reset. And I think everyone needs that. I think everyone either has or needs to find in their life that person that can just help reach out and hit the reset button and not necessarily just keep feeding that. It's really easy with the social media and everything today to find those people that will feed that. Oh, yeah, I can't believe that customer did that. You know what? I would have said to them, I would have told them just to get out of my store. And you can get into that mindset so easy, and sometimes you just need that reset button. So Dennis Willis for me.
And just butt in there real quick. I know Dennis as well. Dennis is he's a great guy. Kelly, Jason, and Pedro. If you guys haven't met him, give him a call. Like get his phone number from us. He's a great guy that can really ground you in any kind of thought, and he's more than happy to talk to you guys. So sorry to plug him there, but yeah, he's a good guy to talk to. That's for sure. And I can only imagine Dennis in the setting of talking with a veteran because he's a bit stern in his delivery. And I'm trying to picture him trying to step down underneath you a little bit. So
You're right. If you ever meet Dennis, or if you know Dennis, Dennis is the most plain talker that I have ever met, and he'll tell you exactly what he thinks, and for the most part, it's right on, but definitely plain talking.
No, that actually sounds like, so I've been blessed, I'll have to say, my entire life for having the most outstanding leadership in nearly every single job that I've been in. But when I was working at EPA and I'm in the Emergency Operations Center, and we're doing Fukushima, this is crazy. We're working with NSA and like 5 other agencies trying to figure things out, and you have to keep your mind right. You get emotional and you're like, oh, why can't they just do this? And you're like, no, we're one team. But my boss, Rick, was just outstanding. He would sit you down, he'd say time out, or he'd say stop, and it was just very controlled, and he always backed you, but put you in your place. So it's this insane wonderfulness that was great. And also, my chief of staff and ambassador in Afghanistan, like I got hit, and my chief of staff called me every single week for a year. Every single week, just to check in on me, see how I'm doing, because we're talking post-traumatic stress disorder, losing your career, losing your entire team because you're not in the military anymore, so you're coming home, and it's just you. That's not fun, I'll say, and I had a great boss who would check up on me all the time, and my ambassador is stationed in other countries, and he came back to see me and our team and just talk and hear what's happening, but brutally honest bosses who also have your back. And I know I'm talking about bosses, but they're just the best people, and they always keep me tracking, I guess.
Okay, so you asked who was a good mentor or inspiration in my life or in my story. And I do want to repeat what you had said, and that Pedro and Kelly, his wife, have been great in helping me stay focused and just giving me inspiration throughout this process, because it is very challenging.
especially in the first few months, as you still are, really. You said June, correct? So 4 or 5 months.
I've started working with them in June, and I'm looking to open my own franchise as soon as I can get that last little bit of money to put together. But this next thing that I'm about to add, I will deny emphatically, and I'll even deny it to the tape. One of the most inspiring, or at least grounding things I've ever heard came from my ex-wife. And I will never admit to her that what a great thing she said and how positive it has been on my life. But I came home from work one day, and this was between deployments to Afghanistan, and I'd already been in Somalia and Kosovo, and a bad situation in Greece at one point. And I came home from work, and I was complaining about some sailors who were just being buttheads, and the paperwork, and the boss was on my ass, and all those things. Pardon my language, I am a sailor, though. And she looked me dead in the eye, and she said, "Did anybody spit on you today?" I said, "Well, no." She said, "Did anybody shoot at you today?" "Well, no." "Well, then I don't want to hear about it. You've had worse days. Get over it." And I'm like, okay. And she was right. So no matter what, no matter how bad the day is, no matter how much it smells like cat pee, or how many bags of lath and plaster we have to try and fit into the trailer, or whatever the case may be, I know that I've been through worse. And no matter what, I have the confidence that I can get through anything. And she helps me. I hear her voice every time it comes up. I hear that. "Did anybody shoot at you today? Did anybody spit on you today?" And her voice, and it nags me. But it gets me through. It reminds me what I need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To build on that really quick, so same thing. There's problems. Anyway, I say first world issues, third world issues. So people start getting a little redonkulous, and I'll say that, it's like past ridiculous, it's redonkulous, and I'll say first world problem. Nobody's dying. Calm down. We're not, like you said, we're not getting shot at. You didn't get hit by a bomb. Calm down, slow your roll. But first world problems and third world problems is not dramatic. You'll get over it. You've been through worse, and I don't know. People seem to get it when I say, first world problem. They're like, all right, I'll calm down. I'm like, yeah, no bullets.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, they all took my drums out, but that's fine. I want to go in a different direction, and Jason's talk about is the spouses. My spouse had been my shining light. She wasn't with me when I was in the military, but I know the people in the military that the spouse in the military is their own unsung hero. They're the ones that stay home. They have to take the families, keep the families in place. And when we come back from deployment, they're the one to keep us straight. So my wife is the one that keep me going forward. Yeah, you said, is sometimes at the beginning of this, I was like, what we're doing? And she said, you have to just keep moving forward. And we need to keep pushing forward. One thing I didn't say, I used to say to my people when I was in the private business, no, we're not getting shut. I used to say, this is not brain surgery. So we all can do this. So let's move forward and get it done. So going back, yes, my wife, Kelly, is my idol. And that I lost my dad this year, that I saw him go into business and how successful he was. But he always said to me, you always take care of your employees. No matter what, at the end of the day, you make sure that your payroll is there and that they're taken care of. Everything else will be taken care of after that. So when I am in business, when I look at doing everything, I make sure payroll is in the bank. If I don't get paid, as long as my employees get paid, that day was a successful day.
Absolutely. How much time do we have? A couple more questions? Okay, cool. Excellent. I want to try to liven it up a little bit. Again, you guys are all kind of new in the business, which is awesome. What's been the biggest win for you guys over the last year? Other than opening the store, I guess, or taking it over, has there been one really? Was there one customer that you were really excited to win, even if you lost money on it, but you were really excited to win that customer, whatever the case is? Yeah,
there hasn't been a standout for me. It's the last year, and trying to grow our print has been a long uphill climb, and the climb has been enjoyable, and there's been a lot of wins along that way, but they've all been small victories. So I feel like I'm fighting small battle after small battle, and hopefully all of these battles in the end mean I win the war. Hopefully I can sit down again in 6 months or a year and talk about some of the big things that happened. But everything for me so far has been a lot of little victories. But that's not to take anything away from them. The customers that come in that are entrusting us with the things that we ship, the customers that I've had that have come in and have entrusted us with this print job or those things, what they've done has been important to them. And just because it doesn't stand out as a shining moment overall since I took over the business, being able to have so many of them and take care of what they need is what's been really important to me, and what I think really, that's what I want to stand out. The girls at the store that work for me always hear, I'm not about what we can get out of that customer today. It's not about, hey, can we upgrade them to this service? Can we get this little bit more out of them? It's about building a relationship with them so that we take care of what they need today, but they want to come back tomorrow. And not only do they want to come back tomorrow, but they want to tell their neighbor and they want to tell their friends, hey, go see those guys over there because they're going to take care of you and they're going to treat you fairly. So no big standout, unfortunately.
I would say that's a pretty big win from somebody that's kind of potentially going down that route of hiring people and trying to find good people. Having people that you can rely on and really trust in your business to be able to grow the relationships that you want. That's a pretty big win.
I can't say enough about my manager. I have a manager named Savannah Walker. She actually was at the store as an associate when I took over the store. Part-time because the previous owner really worked full-time at the store and I don't. Savannah got moved to full-time and she really has that same focus. We work very closely together as we're we're partners. We have, whatever the owner-manager relationship is, we have a very strong relationship. And she, although to see us, you would think that we were married. We do have those battles on a daily basis, but it's to achieve the same end goal. So that's a good point.
Yeah, again, those small wins
and
that
all
add
of
up.
those wins, and having a team there that I can trust to do that when I come out here or whenever I'm traveling for my other job or whenever I'm taking care of something with my family, knowing that I've got the team back there that has the same mission to take care of the customers that are coming in.
Excellent.
So, my big win, and this doesn't really help with the let's keep it happy or whatever moment, but my big win is that I didn't fall into darkness. And
That's a big win. That's a very big win.
Horrible, but we lose 22 plus veterans a day to suicide. We lose them. And they're coming home, they're losing their career, they lost their family, which is the military, et cetera. Everything's gone, and you're trying to adjust to life in civilian world, and post-traumatic stress disorder is huge, and I have severe PTSD, and lost what I thought was my life, my career, my family, everything. Everything was gone. But my bigger win was just finding something else to make me not fall in that darkness. What makes me happy? What makes me smile? Find something you can fix, you can do. I'm physically active, I'm handcrafting, and I'm talking to people. Like, I'm sitting here talking to people, and they ask me questions, and I have conversations, and I have a great service dog who starts conversations. So, one, not falling into darkness, that was outstanding. And two, like, I have outstanding parents, and, I'm not married, hint. And, but I have my parents who deal with my ridiculousness, or redonkulous, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, they're like, you want to do what? Like, why don't you just slow down and heal? As people say, it's healing time. Like, yeah, I need to do something to heal. I need to actively do something to be able to heal myself. And handcrafting and making this stuff, I'm thinking of people, and I'm doing what you want me to do. You want lavender, lime, vanilla, awesome. And then you smile when I make it for you. And it's an accomplishment, and my mom helps me make my labels. They design with me. They give me their opinion and telling me when I'm being ridiculous. And so my parents have been super helpful, and I think they are for all veterans who come back, at least in my age group. Like, parents play a huge role. They deal with you in those moments, like 4th of July. Let's not talk about 4th of July. It's not good for many of us. And yeah, my parents, that's my second win.
So I don't know that I've had a large win, but it's the little daily ones that make so much difference. It's the clients that give you a hug. It's the referrals that say, hey, this person called me and said you did a great job. I want to hire you now. Just the smile on their face when we know we've done a good job. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like Finding Pedro maybe too.
It's not Finding Nemo. First, I want to say something very important. BNIs. I am a member of the 71 Buzz, a BNI that is in Medina. That is, if you are looking to open a business, get in a BNI, the network alone will help you get your company going. My big win, I think, for this year is basically now I am the captain of my ship. I am responsible to making the success or the failure of my company falls on me, on nobody else. And I'm not going to fail. That is my job. I have 3 kids, a wife, 2 dogs, 3 fishes that I have to take care of. So that is my responsibility. So that is the big win. The small wins, like Jason's talking about, when you finish a job and the customer come and give you a hug or share a tear with you, thank you. You had to take so much of the load out of my life, and you're like, wow, I just took the junk out, and that's what's so important. It makes you feel great. It makes you feel good. It gives you that little hump on energy to say, let's go to the next job, because that is what it takes. And I tell you, sometimes I come home at night, and I am beat, and I have to hang up in the hot shower and like, they're sitting down there just to calm down or get my muscles ready. But the thrill of getting up next morning and doing it again is second to none. It reminds me when I used to fly. I come in, land, I was covered in sweat, but I was walking to the flight office to see when I was going back up again, because that's what I wanted to do. That is all I care. Just follow that goal, and those customers are our goal.
If you want to start with the next one, what would be a tip that you take out of your daily lives that you'd be able to share with the audience?
Get out of bed early and start the job. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Well, I can sleep 5 minutes more. No, get up early, get your day going, and make it happen. You're the captain.
Remember gratitude. It's very simple. Thank yourself, thank those around you, and just remember that you can get up out of bed, because many of us can't.
Stay motivated, and if door A shuts, there's B, C, D, and E, and F, whatever. You'll figure it out. Don't let things end, and you get new beginnings, and just keep trying and figure it out. If one thing doesn't work, try another. Go to a BNI group, go to this group, brainstorm with people, and stay motivated, and you'll get to the end that makes you smile. Exactly.
I would say the people that you run into, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers, meet everyone with an open mind. You don't know what that person can bring to you, and you don't know what that person is bringing in through the door. For us, we have someone coming to ship a package out, and we don't know which of those folks may have gone to a family member's funeral that day and is sending something that means a lot to them out to, someone that maybe couldn't make it in. You don't know what they're bringing in, and if you go into that interaction with some preconceived notions, or you're bringing in whatever you've got going on, you could miss opportunities, or you could just miss an opportunity to be a good person.
Trying to think of a few other things that might be relevant and that the audience might like to hear. What about outside of work? What do you guys like to do? I think you mentioned you have a family, but you have all these full-time jobs. But
I don't have a lot of outside of work.
Sure.
But,
yeah. What's one thing that's enjoyable to you that you like to try to
Absolutely.
clear your mind with?
So one thing that I do, my middle daughter is 15 years old, and she wants to join the military. She would like to go to the Air Force Academy. When she was looking at what it takes to go, she found that they encourage teenagers to join Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or Civil Air Patrol. And if you were to meet my 15-year-old, obviously Boy Scouts isn't an option, and Girl Scouts is way not an option. So Civil Air Patrol was really the only option for her. So I actually got involved in that with her. If you're not familiar with Civil Air Patrol, they are the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary, and they have a youth program, and it's a leadership program for youth ages 12 to 18 years old, and I'm active with that with her. It kind of gives me that connection back. My hat's off to all of you. I served from 1995 to 1999. I served in that window where really not a lot was going on. I spent 2 years at the Air Force Research Lab in Albuquerque and 2 years at the Pentagon. I could not have been less in the military unless I simply didn't join. So I'm honored to be called a veteran, but I certainly take my hat off to the folks that actually got out there and were called to go out in the field. This has actually allowed me to keep some of that connection and pass on some of the things that I did learn during my time in the military to some of the youth coming up today. So that's the Civil Air Patrol. If you've got some youth that sounds like a program for them, it's very interesting and very dear to me. I'd love to talk more about that.
I run half marathons. My dog runs all my 5Ks with me. I like medals. I don't know. I think it's like you're used to getting rewarded for good work. It's called promotion, and you get little chevrons and whatnot. And I got out, and I was like, okay. And so my first Alive Day, my Alive Day is the day I got hit and I didn't die. So that's my Alive Day, April 6th, 2013, but April 6th. So on April 6th, every year I do something new, something different, something I'm not allowed to be doing or shouldn't be doing or whatever. So my first one, I got my partial skull replacement, and so I signed up for a half marathon. So that was, yeah, I got a lot of reactions. Doctors were like, no, 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 if you fall, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, so I'm running a half marathon, so that's happening. And so every year on my Alive Day, I do something different. I go zip lining, or I go horseback riding, or I go well, I can't skydive. They said no skydiving. And I had to sell the Harley because they said no Harleys. So anyway, if you have any good adventure things for me to do on April 6th, let me know. But I can't jump out of helicopters anymore. So any ideas are great. But anyways, I run half marathons, and I enjoy getting medals, and I feel like it's an achievement, and I feel like I did something. And I got to have that visual. You know, you just hang them up on the wall like with all your promotion certificates. We all have our issues.
So I hate running, but I do it anyway sometimes. Yeah.
I feel bad for not doing it.
There you go.
If you see the medals, you'll change them out.
So one of the things that I do, and it cracks Pedro up all the time, is I love restoring particularly old wood. But I started off doing old World War II soldiers' chest, and we call them sea chest. And I now do hope chest and things like that. And I'll restore any kind of old furniture, try and bring it back to life, or try and, you know, just do something unique with it, even if it's keeping the rust that's there. It reminds me that there's beauty in everything, and I have to do something with my hands because it gives my PTSD a chance to shut up, because I'm a card-carrying member of that canoe club as well. And I have to be physically active in order to get the brain quiet. So anything I can do with my hands, but particularly woodworking.
Well, besides the business, I'm a scout. I'm an Eagle Scout, so my 3 kids are in Scouts. I'm also involved with American Legion. I'm also involved with the Knights of Columbus in my 3rd degree night. Camping, go camping. I love camping. Every summer I'm camping. You know, if I'm not working, I'm camping. I would love to go fishing, but lake fishing is not what I grew up. I grew up in Puerto Rico. You know, you pick up a fish in this lake. We call it bait in Puerto Rico. So yeah. So I don't go fishing in this lake. But it's in helping other people. Be honest, it's helping people achieve their goal. It's when you help somebody achieve something that they thought that they couldn't. It brings a level of satisfaction that's second to none. So that is what I do.
The other thing I do is like we were saying, like helping veterans or helping military and that sort of thing. So I work with the Military Mama Network, and I do a ton of magazine and books drives. So you have used magazines, you've already read them, you're done with this book, instead of throwing them away, give them to our troops. And so I have this big Tupperware container on my front porch. People know where I live. Or I work with the Veterans Club here. We had boxes out, and people would just throw in their magazines and books, and I'm shipping them to Syria, Afghanistan, North Carolina, wherever our troops are. Let's give some reading material. Let them smile for a minute. Let them take away from their job. It's important, but they need to just, you know, I need that InStyle magazine occasionally. You know, we just need to relax. So, so doing what I can for the troops, and magazines and books donation drives, that works. So if you want to give any, talk to the Veterans Club here.
I have a million magazines, so that's why
Awesome.
I'll tell my wife that's why I was keeping them. So no.
And it's donation, so that's a tax-free thing, or whatever, tax deduction. Yeah, so.
Better than going in the recycle bin anyway. So
I
I'd rather,
know,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's great. Well, I'm super honored and humbled to be able to be here and moderate you guys. So thank you guys again for your service. I have a lot of family and friends that I almost have a hard time being around and spending a lot of time with, because I just feel like I'm in debt to them. So thank you very much. I want to open up to questions in the audience. Is there anything?
For me, it's that we're here without our team, which is hard. And if we have a veterans obviously we have the Veterans Club here, but can we get together? Can we do things? Can we have events? Can we have a barbecue? Can we, I don't know, something that facilitates us becoming our new team here. We're right here in the same place, but I don't know, who's Army, who's a Marine? Oh, you were a photojournalist? So was I. Oh, you were in Bagram? Me too. And so it's a way to connect and build a new team right here locally, so you almost have your group back, just in a different area, and you have those support when you have those bad days, or when the 4th of July happens and the fireworks are like rocket attacks, and you have a group you can talk to about it, or, you know, go have a meal with, or grab a beer.
So I'd like to follow up on what Kelly was saying. I'm very active in a group called Warriors Journey Home, which was started as a support group for Vietnam veterans, with the end goal being to help them go back to Vietnam and see that it's not what it was, and see it through a lens other than that of a combat soldier. And I'm just humbled and floored every time I talk to one of these veterans who's made the journey and seen that there is life after war, there is life after combat. I would strongly encourage a similar support group here at Lorain County Community College. And one of the keys is it not be just veterans. Invite what, in our group, Warriors Journey Home, we call it people of strong heart. It's people who have been affected by family members who have been in the military service. Grandparents, mothers, fathers, spouses, children come and tell their story and say, this is what it was like for me while my mother or father was in combat, while my sister was in combat. And it's important as veterans for us to hear that aspect as well, but it's also important for people who honestly have no, I gotta watch my language, no freaking clue what it's like to wear the uniform, no clue what it's like to sit in a armored vehicle that's just been hit with an IED, and look to your left and see that the person who was driving is no longer there. Sitting down and helping others understand that, because I very much appreciate the difference between our generation and the Vietnam veterans generation, where nobody said thank you, where people spit on them or showed them disrespect as they returned. I appreciate it when somebody comes up and says thank you for your service, and I thank you for your appreciation. But in some ways, a lot of veterans have expressed this to me as well, is it makes us uncomfortable, because we don't do it for gratitude. We didn't do it to be a hero or to be on the front of Time magazine, or even for somebody to say thank you or show appreciation. We did it because it's our service, it's our country, and it's what our calling was to do. Some people did it for the Army, college fund or whatever, but most of us do it, at least those of us that stick around, do it because it's a purpose. And we're not doing it for gratitude, but that's something that we have a hard time explaining, and a support group that is open to veterans and non-veterans might help get that point across. Start a dialogue.
Yep, on that, like, you guys had a suicide prevention 5K here. It was awesome. I mean, obviously, you hear horrible stories, and a lot of us know, some hard things that people go through in the military, women specifically, and a suicide prevention event it hit home for a lot of us. Like, we know people. I can't think of someone who doesn't know someone that they lost. It's important to do that. And so more events like that, more races, more 5Ks, more runs, do a half marathon. I mean, you can't really, but you could do a half marathon, who knows? But any sort of competition, or like maybe it's a push-up thing, maybe it's a run thing. Like, we went through PT, we were doing push-ups, sit-ups, running, have a basic training day or something, I don't know, but just the 5Ks at least. Like, I'll start working out more if I can win like a push-up contest or whatnot, but.
I was just thinking about letting us run a PT session with a bunch of college kids.
Oh, that'll be fun. Can I be the drill sergeant? Oh, it would be so much fun. It'd be awesome. Yeah.
We need to make a Neo LaunchNet medal for Kelly. So.
What to do, I'll win. We'll make it in the fab lab for you.
There you go.
One program that you do have that I'd like to point out and make a comment about is with the Small Business Development Center and the, I'm probably going to get the name of it wrong, Boots to Business, I believe. I think there was one that was scheduled recently that it didn't happen because there wasn't enough interest. And I didn't get any information about that, and I don't know if you guys did or not, but some of the things that you already have, making sure that you're reaching out to more of the veterans that can get the word out to their groups and filling up those things that you do already have. Because, I think there's a lot of veterans that are interested in learning more about getting involved in the businesses and then just being around each other and making more connections. It's a diverse group, but there are a lot of connections within there, and once they start to make, you start to form them, and those bonds come back very easily. The four of us could probably easily go out, me only being kind of a military member, could easily go out and have a drink together.
Well, the first round's on you.
Absolutely. Go Air Force.
Sorry, just really quick too, on the 5K thing, and like the thank yous. When I did my first tour in Afghanistan, people say, "Oh, thank you for your service," and I said, "Just doing my job." That was it, just doing my job. And after getting hit, now I say thank you for the thank you, because it's been a long recovery. It's been hard. It's been so hard. So when I get a thank you, I'm like, thank you for the thank you, because I need that thank you. But also the 5K, it's great because you have a whole bunch of people around you saying they appreciate you. They appreciate your service. Where's that Veterans Day 5K? Where's the Memorial Day 5K? Where, like, all of that, but just showing up for the suicide prevention, people are telling their stories. And I'm looking around and I was like, all these people care. They want me here. Like, they want me to not go away. And that was just a 5K, and you just show up, and it takes, like, no time to do a 5K, but the amount of support that we got just being there was outstanding.
Well, going back to the question of what we can do to help veterans move on or get to the entrepreneurship. First of all, it's two separate things. You took in two phases. First, they had to, you got dealing with veterans that are coming back. They are dealing with PTSD. They're dealing with other issues. That conversation needs to continue helping them cope with the situation, because it will never be fixed. Let's be realistic. They have to learn how to create coping mechanisms to deal with that. Now, at the point when the veterans decide to say, what am I going to do with my career? Where am I going from this point forward? Having some type of program, an idea, say, okay, what are you looking at? You want to be an employee for the company? Let's have some companies that are veteran friendly. Or you want to be an entrepreneur? This is the entrepreneurship building. Have a program, have a class, and say, well, this is what it takes. This is what it will take you to become an entrepreneur. Have somebody sit down with that individual and say, the first day that you go into business is the scariest day in your life. It's like, not compared to being in combat, but it's just, you don't know if that phone is going to ring. You don't know where your next paycheck is going to come. How do you cope with that? So those are the things that we have to teach these people, because the reality is that they don't understand that. They're coming from a program that, when we were in the military, paycheck was a benefit. When we go in the civilian world, paycheck is the goal. So that is something that you need to teach how to handle that. So.
Yeah, building on that, we always used to say, give me a kiss, like, keep it simple, stupid. Like, that was how it is. We live on bullet pointed checklists. Like, here's how to start your small business. I looked it up at the Ohio Business Network, or I think Ohio Business Network online, and it just says how to start a small business. But if you give me a checklist, when I come to you and I'm like, hey, I want to start a business, here you go. Here's your list. This is what you have to do. And then it makes it clear and simple and concise, and we can post it on our fridge, and it's just check, 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 check. But I talk to people all the time like, oh, how'd you do this? I was like, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lay it out, clear and concise, and it just is so helpful. Like, it's a great follow-up. Did you do step 3? Nope. Well, you can't do step 4 then. Keep going.
I literally did the exact same thing. I printed out the same check sheet from the Secretary of State website, and I put it right on the side of my, right on the wall, right next to my computer, and checked down the list. And that's how I started. So absolutely, absolutely. Anything else you guys want to say? No. thank you guys very much for coming, and please give them a round of applause.